Hey everyone, my name is Brittany and I am talking about the summer project. We were expected to do of the project was work on the Homeland Security courses with the Moodle to Canvas migration. I thought that the materials we were working with were really cool. I would like to first and foremost mention that the grad students during the summer project were diligent and worked really hard on this project, so thank you. I would also like to thank the faculty that allowed us to work on these courses. I understand that sometimes these courses are gems to instructors due to the fact that they pour in copious amounts of hours into their Moodle courses. So thank you for letting us work in these courses. That's what our project was for the summer. Now, the tasks that we were expected to do were to complete checking Moodle courses for quality checks, accessibility checks, proper outcomes, formatting, and we were also allowed to give additional suggestions, feedback for the course. Some other things that we learned were quiz functionalities with bank questions and organization of those bank questions. The Moodle course was then to be downloaded or uploaded to be transferred into Canvas. Some other couple things that we did is we dabbled into the gradebook setup, where we discovered weights versus points. It is important to have categories within your gradebook. Categories such as assignments, quizzes, forums, discussion boards. It's imperative in the gradebook that you do this properly. If it is not set up properly, then the gradebook does not reflect correctly. And then I know that students kind of panic about, why is my grade not looking right? So it's important to set up your gradebook correctly. Now, both LMSs have similar layout and functionality to understand. The cool part about these processes is that they are real functionality within the workforce, and we were able to be a part of something that's actually happening within the work at ISU. So that's really neat. And those are some tasks that we were guided to learn. Now, what did I learn about instructional technology and design in this project? Due to being a former employee of the ITRC, I wasn't particularly introduced to anything new. What I was most excited about exploring was the admin side of Canvas, which I discovered was very similar, if not easier, to use once I learned how to use it. Some of the tools that I was introduced to were like Panopoto. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that correctly. Audacity. There was very many instructional tools that I was introduced to during this project that I felt was very neat to learn about. So I did learn about lots of cool new tools that I could introduce into future instructional designing inside of courses. Now, what was the most difficult thing for me? I'll be honest, right away, it was very difficult for me to log in. I spent half the summer semester trying to gain access to my ITRC Moodle account alone. I am not so sure why I was having such difficulty at first, because I first of all, I was a former employee of the ITRC, and so I was wondering if that had something to do with why I was having such a difficulty logging in, or if I was just plainly not doing it right. And so what I discovered, and I feel is most important to share, is that the ITRC Moodle login non-SS Duo verification link that was emailed to us is invalid access for me. I found out that looking through all the materials, I followed the video, I followed the email instructions, and nothing was working. After more than halfway through the semester, and after requesting for my password to be changed twice, I discovered that I needed to be on a guest landing page. So basically, I couldn't be logged into any sort of Google account whatsoever. And so once I discovered this, it had me change my password. But due to being on a guest landing page, it did not save my password. And I've changed that password for that account several times because of working for them. So, of course, I did not write it down and I forgot. And I ended up locking myself out of the account again. So this became very frustrating for me. And I felt like this whole experience was stressful because I was following the instructions, but I was still not getting access. However, everyone else seemed to be doing just fine and getting into the project materials and completing the project materials. And I felt a little frustrated and unmotivated because all the work was already finished by the time I got in there, because you guys are so amazing at getting in there and getting it done. And so I know how all the processes work, but I did not get into the material. I feel disappointed in myself, because it's all on myself for not processing through this more efficiently. But I do want to say that you guys rock. That is why I wanted to share that, because I feel like if anyone else was to go through this process again and that link in the email was not to work, that a guest landing page and to write down your password would be really great suggestions for you. The most important concept I took away from this project was how we had real exposure to what ISU is working on currently. Moodle to Canvas migration has been in the talks for a little while now, and what I mean by a little while, I mean a few years. And I also know how much incredible amount of work it's going to take to successfully get this done. I know that it can successfully be done, and the most exciting part about where this is headed is that the courses will take on basic, well-structured skeletons that we know has been modified and taken care of by a professional instructional person in that world. So I really am proud and happy that the ISU is looking towards the future of online learning and is headed in a great direction for instructional technology. And this is not just ISU alone. I feel like online learning itself is headed in this direction. And so the fact that we get to be a part of this process is probably the biggest takeaway that I get out of this whole project. So yeah, thanks for listening.